The church was filled with soft music, warm light, and the sweet scent of flowers. Guests smiled, cameras flashed, and everything appeared perfect. The kind of perfect that takes months of planning and a lifetime of dreaming. But at the very front in the first row sat Linda. And nothing about her felt perfect anymore. Her hands were cold. Her chest felt tight. Her heart was beating so loudly, she feared others might hear it. She stared up at the altar, where Kevin stood with that polished smile, a smile she once hoped was genuine, but now knew was a mask. And beside her, walking slowly down the aisle in a gown of white lace and innocence, came her daughter Diana. Before we dive deeper, let us know where you're watching from in the comment section below. And if you're hooked already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a twist. Diana, glowing with hope. Diana, believing in love. Diana, unaware that she was walking toward a future built on lies. Linda's throat tightened. She thought she could do it. She had told herself all morning she would wait, that she would tell Diana after the ceremony, privately, quietly, gently. But watching her daughter step closer to Kevin, the very man Linda had seen, the night before, tangled in an intimate embrace with someone else, something inside her snapped, that someone else wasn't a stranger. It was Tonya, Diana's best friend since childhood, the girl who grew up in Linda's home, ate at her table, laughed in her living room, the girl who Diana trusted more than anyone. Linda could still hear the sounds, still see the moment she realized what was happening. It played in her mind like a cruel film. The hotel hallway, the half-open door, Kevin's voice, Tonya's laughter, their arms around each other, kissing on the night before the wedding. And worse, their words, their plans, their betrayal. Linda had stood frozen then, and now she found herself frozen again. But this time she found her voice. Diana was only a few steps away from the altar when Linda rose to her feet. Her voice trembled, but it carried through the cathedral like thunder. Stop the wedding. The reaction was instant. Gasps rippled like a wave. The musicians faltered. The priest paused. Heads turned. Cameras lowered. The entire church shifted from joy to confusion in a heartbeat. Diana stumbled, nearly dropping her bouquet. "Mom?" Her voice was small, panicked. A voice that had never expected this. Kevin's smile cracked just slightly, but enough for Linda to see the panic flash behind his eyes. Linda swallowed hard. Her hands shook, but her voice grew stronger. "Diana, you cannot marry this man." Silence. A thick, suffocating silence. The kind that holds its breath. The kind that comes before a storm. Diana stared at her mother, her eyes wide with disbelief, hurt already forming. "What are you saying? Why are you doing this?" Linda took a long, steadying breath. She could feel the weight of the moment, a life-changing moment, not just for Diana but for everyone in that room. "I didn't want to do this here," Linda whispered, though everyone heard her. "But I have no choice. If I stay silent, I let you step into a marriage built on lies." Kevin took a step forward, his expression shifting into one of calm concern, the performance he had perfected. "Linda, please," he said smoothly. "This is a misunderstanding. You must be—" Linda lifted her hand, cutting him off. She had spent her entire life being gentle, warm, understanding, but not today. "He is not the man you think he is. Diana," her voice didn't tremble this time. "He has been lying to you, cheating on you, using you." The crowd broke into whispers, soft, shocked, confused whispers, like bees swarming inside the walls. Diana shook her head slowly, tears already gathering. "No. No, Kevin would never—" Linda stepped closer to her daughter, her eyes filled with pain and fierce love. "My sweet girl, I saw him last night at the hotel. He wasn't alone. He wasn't where he said he was. And the person he was with," her voice cracked, "was Tonya." A collective gasp filled the church, louder than before. People turned to look at the maid of honor, Tonya standing pale and trembling, her bouquet shaking in her hands. Diana's eyes widened, disbelief twisting into horror. "Tonya?" Tonya said nothing. Her silence was an answer. Kevin's face hardened, the mask slipping, but Linda wasn't finished. No, this moment was bigger than pain. It was about truth, about saving her daughter from years of quiet heartbreak. Everyone's attention was now locked on Linda, and she spoke, not as a woman breaking a wedding, but as a mother protecting her child. "This is not a story about bitterness," she said softly. "This is a story about love, a mother's love. The kind that refuses to let her daughter be fooled, used, or broken." She looked at Diana, tears shining. "I raised you alone. I watched you learn to laugh again after losing your father. I saw you grow into a woman full of light. And I will not let that light be dimmed by someone who does not deserve you." The church remained still. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Linda hadn't yet revealed the recording. She hadn't yet exposed every ugly detail. That would come soon, very soon, right now. The moment was suspended in time. The very point where everything breaks open. A daughter caught between love and truth. A groom caught between charm and exposure. A mother caught between heartbreak and courage, and this was only the beginning. The silence in the church grew heavy, pressing down on everyone present. Diana stood frozen in the aisle, her white dress shimmering under the soft golden light. But now it seemed too bright, too fragile, like glass about to shatter. Her fingers loosened, and the bouquet of flowers slipped halfway from her grasp. The petals trembled, mirroring her voice when she finally spoke. "Mom, please tell me you're not mistaken." Her voice was a whisper, trembling, desperate, a last hope that maybe, just maybe, the world she believed in wasn't collapsing. Linda felt her heart break at the sound of it. She stepped closer, her voice quiet but steady. "I wish I was mistaken, Diana. I prayed I was wrong, but I saw it with my own eyes." Kevin moved then, too fast, too smooth, stepping closer to Diana, reaching for her hands as though he could hold her world together with a touch. "Diana, look at me," he said gently. "Your mother is confused." She must have misunderstood. "We were all stressed last night. People talk, things get twisted. But there was a shift now, subtle, but unmistakable." Diana pulled her hands back. Kevin's eyes flickered with irritation. It lasted less than a second, but Linda caught it. And she knew Diana did too. Meanwhile, Tonya had gone pale. Her breath came in short, uneven bursts. She clutched her bouquet like it might anchor her to the floor. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape, a way to undo what was unfolding. But there was none. Linda inhaled deeply, her voice soft, but heavy with truth. "I didn't just see them. Diana, I heard them." A ripple of tension moved through the crowd. Diana swallowed hard. Tears welled in her eyes, held back only by sheer will. "What? Did you hear?" Linda's hands shook slightly as she reached into her handbag, slowly, deliberately, and pulled out her phone. Kevin's expression cracked again, panic flashing, then quickly smoothed over with forced calm. "Linda." His voice was low now, warning, sharp. "Don't do this." But Linda met his eyes head-on. "No, I will." She tapped the screen. The church became so quiet that even the flicker of candles could be heard. Then came the sound, sharp, unmistakable, broadcast through the phone's speaker. Tonia's voice whispering seductively, "After tomorrow, everything will be ours." "She'll never know." Kevin's voice followed, low and smug. "As long as we keep playing it right. Diana trusts us both. That's what makes this perfect." The recording echoed in the church, gasps erupted. Guests covered their mouths. Some shook their heads. A few looked at Diana with heartbreak in their eyes. Tonia's bouquet hit the floor, Diana's knees buckled, and Linda rushed to catch her, steadying her, supporting her, holding her as the world she knew collapsed in a single moment. Kevin's mask was gone now. He didn't bother pretending anymore. His posture hardened, his eyes cold. "The charming, caring fiancé gone like smoke, so that's how it is?" Kevin said quietly, irritation turning to contempt. "You really just couldn't mind your own business, could you, Linda?" Linda stared at him with a calm that came only from a pain already endured. "My daughter is my business." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, but Kevin wasn't done, arrogance still clinging to him like armor. He looked at Diana, not with love, but with annoyance, like someone losing something he thought he was entitled to. "Look, Diana," he said, his tone suddenly practical, dismissive. "There's no point in making a scene. Your mother saw something she didn't understand. She twisted it. But we can still fix this. We can talk later." Diana didn't speak. She didn't move. She simply stared at him. at the man she had loved, the man she trusted, the man she was ready to vow her life to. Her voice, when it finally came, was faint, but clear. "How long?" Kevin blinked. "What? How long?" Diana repeated, her voice cracking. "Have you been lying to me?" He hesitated, and that was the answer. Diana's breath shattered into sobs, not loud or dramatic, but quiet. Broken tears, the kind that carry years of love disintegrating in seconds. Linda wrapped her arms around her daughter, holding her close, stroking her hair just like when she was little and scraped her knee. Except this wound was deeper. A wound of the heart. Tonya finally spoke, her voice trembling, small. "Diana." I'm sorry." Diana looked at her, eyes full of betrayal deeper than anything Kevin could have caused. "You were my sister." Tonya's face crumpled, but Diana didn't look away. "You were the one person I trusted most, and you destroyed that." For him, Tonya's tears fell, but Diana's expression didn't soften. The betrayal from a friend cut differently, sharper, closer, unforgettable. Meanwhile, Kevin looked like a man who believed he could still turn the situation around. He straightened his jacket, clearing his throat like this was a business meeting he could still win. "Everyone is overreacting. Diana, you love me. We can talk this out." Linda stepped forward, fight between him and her daughter. "No, there will be no more talking. No more excuses. No more lies." She looked him in the eye, the full strength of a mother protecting her child burning through her gaze. "You will leave. Right now." Kevin scoffed, but something in Linda's eyes made him hesitate. Not anger, not rage. Strength. The kind of strength people don't challenge and walk away proud. Slowly, Kevin turned, his jaw tight, and walked out of the church. No one stopped him, no one spoke. Only the sound of the doors echoing shut behind him remained. And in that moment, even though the pain was fresh, raw, unbearable, something else entered the room. Relief. Not happiness yet, not healing yet, but the first breath of freedom. Linda held Diana tightly as her daughter cried, her tears soaking into her mother's shoulder. The wedding was ruined, but the future had just been saved. The church remained still, as if even the walls were holding their breath. Some guests wiped their eyes quietly. Others shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to stay or leave. The priest stood frozen, hands clasped, witnessing something far more human and heartbreaking than any ceremony he had ever led. Diana's sobs slowly softened, though her body still trembled. Linda rubbed gentle circles along her back, whispering softly, "You are safe. I'm here. I'm here." The same words she whispered when Diana was a toddler, afraid of thunderstorms. The same words she used when Diana struggled with grief after her father passed. The same words now when her world felt storm-shattered again. After a few moments, Diana took a deep, shaking breath and stepped back slightly. Her eyes, though swollen with tears, carried something new, clarity. A beginning of strength. "Mom," she whispered. "Thank you." Linda's heart tightened. She stroked her daughter's cheek, wiping away a tear with her thumb. "I will always choose you, my love, even if it means standing alone." But she had not stood alone. Behind her, the guests, who once came to witness a celebration, had become witnesses to truth, courage, and the power of a mother's love. And slowly, one by one, they nodded, offering warmth, understanding, and quiet respect. The priest cleared his throat gently and spoke in a soft tone, his voice kind, steady, filled with empathy. "My child," he said to Diana, "this day was meant to celebrate love. Though the love you thought you had has been broken, another love has proven itself stronger. A mother's love, and your own love for yourself. There is no shame in stepping away from what harms you. The bravest thing a person can do is walk away from something they once believed they couldn't live without." Diana's breath trembled, but she nodded. She felt every word. Linda held her shoulders. "Would you like to leave, sweetheart? We can go home." Diana paused, her gaze drifting to the guests, to the decorated altar, the white flowers, the aisle she had stepped halfway down. Everything around her felt like pieces of a dream, now cracked, fragile, fading into something distant. But then her eyes found Tonya, Tonia still stood near the altar, her face streaked with tears, her hands shaking. Regret poured off her in waves. But regret does not undo betrayal. Regret does not rebuild trust. Diana took a slow step toward her. The church became silent once more. Tonia's voice broke first. "Diana, please listen. I didn't mean to hurt you. I swear I never wanted it to go this far. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to tell you." Diana didn't raise her voice. She didn't scream. She didn't lash out. Instead, she spoke quietly, and somehow that quiet carried more weight than any shout ever could. "You knew exactly how to stop," Diana said. "You could have told me the truth. You could have stepped away. You could have chosen me, your friend, before choosing him." Tonia's tears fell harder. Her knees nearly buckled. "I loved you like my sister," Diana continued, her voice breaking. "But you didn't love me back the same way. And I can't pretend that this is something we can repair. I can forgive you, but I can't keep you in my life." Tonia let out a sound that was almost a sob, a sound of loss too heavy to bear. Then she lowered her head and stepped away. She walked down the aisle slowly, leaving petals crushed beneath her feet. She did not look back, and for the first time since the moment the wedding was interrupted, a small, fragile strength took root inside Diana. Linda could see it. She smiled softly. Not the smile of someone happy, but the smile of someone proud. The priest spoke again, addressing the room. "My friends," he began gently, "this ceremony will not continue today. But before we depart, let us all leave with a reminder. Love does not fail us. People fail us, but love, real love, is still here. It exists in truth, in loyalty, in courage, in sacrifice, in a mother's arms, in the strength to walk away. Let us hold on to that." The guests began to rise slowly. Some approached Diana, offering soft words of comfort. Others simply nodded respectfully, leaving with quiet steps, not wanting to disturb the fragile peace that had formed. When the church had mostly emptied, Diana and Linda remained for a moment longer. The silence now felt different, not heavy, not suffocating, but healing, like the air after a storm when the world feels washed clean. Diana looked up at her mother, eyes red but steady. "What do I do now?" she whispered. Linda smiled gently and took her hand, giving it a warm, reassuring squeeze. "Now," she said softly, "we go home, you rest, you breathe, you heal, and when you're ready, you build again. But this time, with people who honor you, who respect you, who deserve you." Diana nodded slowly. A tear slipped down her cheek. But this time, it was not from heartbreak. It was from relief. Together they walked out of the church. The sky outside was bright, sunlight pouring down like a blessing. The fresh air felt like the first real breath Diana had taken in days. Linda wrapped an arm around her daughter, holding her close as they stepped into a future unknown, but stronger, safer, and true. And though the day had not gone as planned, it had become something far more powerful, a lesson in truth, a victory of love, a beginning of healing, and the end of everything that was never meant to last.